What's up, y'all? It's your boy Darius the Great coming back with another Darius the Great deep dive. And this time, what we're doing today is we deep diving into hip hop eras. So in this series, man, I'm just talking about different eras in hip hop. And today we starting off with a special era, the shiny suit era. Or the jiggy era, whatever. In the mid '90s, hip hop entered a new phase. It was one defined by bold colors, glossy fabrics, and a flashy celebration of success. This was the era of the shiny suits, where rappers traded streetwear for silk and satin, and the culture shifted from gritty to glamorous. The shiny suit era officially kicked off around 96, 97, led by the visionary Sean Puffy Diddy Combs and his label Bad Boy Records. Puff Daddy wasn't just making hits, he was crafting an image, one that reflected wealth, power, and luxury. And at the core, this style was the signature satin suit, bright, flashy, and impossible to ignore. This era grew out of hip-hop growing mainstream success in the early '90s. As rap artists began to cross over to pop audiences, the fashion evolved to match, moving away from the baggy jeans and jerseys towards tailored, high-fashion looks that scream, "We got big money out here." The shiny suit era hit its peak around '97, a year forever linked to the release of More Money, More Problems by the Notorious B.I.G, featuring Puff Daddy and Mase. The music video became the definitive moment. All three rappers dressed in eye-popping satin suits, flashy diamond chains, and exuding confidence. And man, if you was outside during '97, you know Puffy and Bad Boy, Biggie, Mase ruled 1997. The untimely demise of the Notorious Big, March 9th, 1997, he was murdered in L.A. Um, you know, that was a turning point for Puff. It was like almost a paradigm shift. It was like either Bad Boy was going to sink or they was on a float, and Puff and Mase put the labels on their back and took it to heights bigger than when Biggie was alive. And I think it started around early '97 when the Nobody Can't Hold Me Down video came out by Puff Daddy featuring Mase. And that video, they was kind of jiggy, driving backwards, was flashy. But when Biggie died, it's like, it was like we didn't know what to expect. And it was just like No Way Out dropped. So in '97, they dropped Life After Death, Biggie's double album, Puffy's No Way Out album, and then Mase Harlem World album. Those three albums dropped in 1997, y'all. I mean, you talking about dominating the era, dominating. And the shiny suit era hit its peak in '97. So the key players during this period included Sean P. Diddy Combs, who was the architect and the face of the movement, the Notorious B.I.G, who was the charisma and the talent embodied that era. Mase, who brought a smooth flow, clean cut, flashy style to the scene. Had the dimples, the smile, the monotone flow, and another Bad Boy artists and affiliates who embraced this look. But like all movements, the shiny suit era couldn't last forever. By the '90s, around 1988, '99, the style began to fade. The track and dust icons like Notorious Big in '97 and the change of sound in hip-hop played a role, But I would say this, right? I don't think it died when, Biggie died. It actually catapulted. You know what I'm saying? But a key player in this visually, from a visual aspect, was Hype Williams. He was a key player behind the scenes, was the legendary director Hype Williams, who with cinematic music videos helped define the era's visual style. Hype did just film artists and created larger-than-life worlds where the shiny suits popped against vibrant backdrops and cinematic lighting. His work on videos like More Money, More Problems and Can't Nobody Hold Me Down made the shiny suit aesthetic unforgettable. He had the bold colors, the fisheye lens, and the dynamic camera angles that didn't just showcase the clothes. They created a whole atmosphere of extravagance and power and just flossiness. The shiny suit era, like I said, it peaked in '97, a year forever linked with More Money, More Problems, and Biggie. And like I said, that was, to me, the kick off of the shiny suit era. The More Money, More Problems video was like it was just I think it was the initial spark. You know what I mean? I think it was the initial spark. Jay-Z, known for his sharp suits and hustler charms, he even embraced a more polished, shiny suit look. When in his song Sunshine with him, and he always say him and Dame don't like that song. And then Missy Elliott also brought a futuristic, bold fashion vibe to the scene, mixing shiny suits. With her vision was Busta Rhymes. He brought his style, energetic flair, and vibrant outfits to the scene. But like all movies, like the shiny suit era, it really came to the end around '98, '99. At the same time, the culture kind of shifted back toward rawness and street authentic sound led by DMX, which started like around 98. Shout out to DMX, Irv Gotti. So the leaders of the new era was Jay-Z, DMX, and I would say Ja Rule, you know. Then the South came up too, you know. I mean, you had more artists from the South and the West Coast starting to influence things of that nature. So by the shiny suit era came I guess you say the bling bling era, ushered in by Cash Money, like 99, 2000, and the focus kind of shift from oversized, shiny suits, and then to the jewelry, designer logos, and things of that nature. And hip hop fashion became more flashy. Right? It was about brands, it was about the Gucci, different things of that nature. But the shiny suit era was brief but iconic. It was a snapshot of hip hop at a pivotal moment when it was embracing its newfound success with the style and swagger. Its influence can still be seen today in how some hip hop artists dress, real shiny, real bright, real flashy, from the satin suits to the diamond chains to the era that lasted. It was like a legacy in hip hop in a time capsule, man. So I think that was the first time that it really showed you like it was really money in hip hop. Like Puff shows you that you could really get it. Like it's just not this thing where you just a rapper and you just living dormant or you going gold and you still living at home with your moms. This was showing like, yo, this is black star power here. And he took it to a new height. And once he took it back, it seemed like it never relinquished because in 1998 was even a bigger year of hip hop. Def Jam came up, the Hard Knock Life tour. You had X selling albums. You had Jay selling albums. You had Redman's album. You had Method Man album. It was just, it was lit. And then after 99, you had Eminem, The Rise of Aftermath. And then you had No Limit. You had Cash Money. It was just the bling era, man. It was just a time in hip hop. So it's your boy Darius the Great signing off, man. Hip hop eras. Next time I'm gonna hit you with a different era. I don't know which era I'm gonna cover next. Y'all give me some feedback. Which y'all think I should cover? Let your boy know. Peace.